Welcome to Secrets to Alignment with Savannah Schaffer. I am here to equip you with the belief and energy to make your dreams a reality. Take this time to fill your cup and align with the most vibrant version of you.
Welcome to the Secrets to Alignment podcast with your host, Savannah Schaffer. Today we are welcoming Tyler Burd, my baby daddy, the man of my dreams. And we are going to be diving into all things mindset of excellence, creating and cultivating a life that feels so fulfilling and that also is fueled by discipline, consistency, hard work, and actually putting in the necessary hours and days that it takes to build a life that you absolutely love.
Absolutely.
All right, let's dive in. So first and foremost, Ty and I, we were about 3 weeks out of moving into our beautiful new home that we've just built together, and we're so excited for it. How are you feeling during this season?
Excited, a little stressed, but excited.
Yeah, we have a lot going on.
It's a lot, it's a lot at one time, but it's good. If you're not uncomfortable, you're probably not making a whole lot of progress doing anything. So
agreed. Okay, so tell us, what else do you have going on in your life? What have you been going through the last 9-10 months that you have been working so diligently towards?
What she's aiming at is I spent about the last 9 or 10 months now studying for captain's test at work. It's been 8-10-hour days of studying and 2,200 pages of material over and over and over again. It's a highly competitive test. It's very stressful. You never feel like you're doing enough. But it's one of those. It's good. It's good for you because for me it kind of I have to tell myself like, hey man, kind of put your head back in the books and keep grinding and just keep grinding and it'll pay dividends in the end. And and so far it has. So I've done all right with where I'm at right now, and we still got a little bit more left, but we're close.
Yeah, we're about 2 weeks out from his last and final assessment.
Yep, second part.
And we will be seeing where he lands on this captain's test. By the time that you guys see this, he'll be number one. And
that's the plan.
That's the plan. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a season of a lot of sacrifice for you, for sure. You've been so committed to this, and now we are living out our dream. You've been wanting to get into this place for a long time. And ever since I met you,
excited.
Yeah.
Very excited for it.
Yeah. We're about to be there. So yeah, we're celebrating a lot of cool things during this season. I feel like this is a massive season for expansion for his career. For my career, I'm taking some big risks and just challenging myself to step up to that next level in my business and serving on a much higher scale. And that is so exciting, but it's also taking, a lot out of me to push myself to that next level, but in the best way possible. It's getting to that brink of that pushing past that fear is where the change really happens, when you are deciding to move into the uncomfortableness, knowing that on the other side of this is so much growth. That is the kind of mindset that's needed. And that's really where I want to get started today. This podcast is with everything that you have created in your life. Both of us, we've both created a pretty, I would say, a high level of excellence type of lifestyle. We're extremely committed to our fitness goals, our health goals. We're very committed to our careers. We're very committed to our family life, our daughter that's 3 years old. We have so many different things that are kind of happening at once. And I feel like when a lot of people are in this season where everything is just, moving and grooving, it can get really overwhelming. But you and I happen to handle it pretty well. So with that being said, what do you feel like is the mentality that's required to kind of hold all these different plates up in the air and not feel as though you're drowning?
I think that starts with learning how to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
It starts out, and I'm learning that right now again with this testing process. I'm kind of nervous every day doing assessment stuff with everybody I work with, and you got some stressors on your plate, and you're just learning how to overcome those micro challenges. I think it's a balance. It's realizing that's harder work in certain areas, such as like for me, and I know for you as well. Getting a little bit harder into fitness helps us get harder into the way we study, the way we put out our, what our expectations are of each other, and holding each other accountable. So I think for me, that mentality comes with looking at what that long-term dividend is, what kind of returns am I going to get, what kind of profit am I looking for in this, and then the motivators, right? Like, who is it impacting? It's not just impacting me; it's impacting my family. It makes me feel good, it makes my family happy to see me work like that. I want you guys to be proud of me, and my friends too. So I think that that's what gets you started. That's what finds your initial objectives, and puts you into a frame building to making sure that you're gonna accomplish what it is you want to put down.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's something that you and I are both really good at, is always thinking of our future feelings. You know, in the moment, we might be a little overwhelmed. We might be like, oh, fuck, like this is a lot right now.
Yep.
But we're constantly reminding ourselves why we're doing it, and just thinking when we get done, how freaking amazing is that going to feel? We're going to feel so accomplished. We're going to feel amazing. And I feel like that's the feeling that we've got addicted to, in a sense.
Absolutely.
Like, we're down to do the hard things. It's the same with taking a cold shower. It's the same with pushing yourself through a workout that like is absolutely hell and taking everything out of you.
It's like working out. No growth comes without resistance.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And after that feeling that you get, that high that you get from pushing yourself to that part where you thought you were going to give up, but like you kept fucking going, that feels so good. And I think that you and I are both, we find joy in that. We find joy in the challenge. We find joy in just bringing ourselves to that level of like, holy fuck, I could have given up, but I did it, and I'm here, and I did it, and I'm proud of myself, and it feels amazing. And we're also instilling that into our daughter, because that's extremely important for everyone in life. That's something that we all need to work on.
And I would say, just to kind of reiterate kind of what you were just talking about, is I think learning how to reward the effort that we put in it's probably more important than what the end goal is. The end goal happens because of all that effort, but if you feel like you're suffering through something, it becomes harder and harder every day. It builds that little bit of stress and anxiety on you, and again, you need to have a little bit of it. That's where those micro rewards come from, but being able to enjoy that effort, like, hey, I'm going to get my ass up this morning early. And then you get up and you're like, dude, I'm miserable. It's 4 a.m. Like, I don't really want to be up. But you get up anyway, and you get to the gym. You're like, okay, I'm putting in effort. Like, I have some sort of discipline today. And it makes the little tasks throughout the day, the little stressors, feel easier. And like, for me, that's a big thing, is like just following up on that effort and be like, hey man, are you trying? Are you really putting in what you need to be putting in? Are you doing what you need for the family? And I know it's the same for you, because we live together and we watch it happen every single day. It's super important that effort is rewarded, and that you recognize that you're not only looking for an end goal. You're not only looking for, hey man, I just can't wait to get to the end of this book. Or,
True.
You got to be happy that you're sitting down and reading. You got to be happy that you're studying, that you're putting in effort, you're building something.
Yes.
So.
I think that what that ends up creating is a high standard for ourselves.
Absolutely.
And that's something that's really important for our entire life. Like, you and I have really high standards. We have high standards for ourselves. We have high standards for the food we eat, for the people who we surround ourselves with. We really hold our people accountable. I am still working on this myself. I'm learning this from you. But that's something that I feel like we naturally just have. We have a high standard of the level of cleanliness we keep in our home. We have a high standard of like just us waking up and making sure that we're taking care of our mental space before we are at work or before we see our friends or our family. We are very intentional on a daily basis. We don't really float on autopilot. And if we do float on autopilot, we catch ourselves very quickly and we bring ourselves right back into that high standard. And that, I think that's like the important part, is the resilience. If we have a weekend where we're like, all right, we're going to eat some cinnamon rolls tonight. We know the next morning we're doing juices, we're doing wellness shots, we're doing all the things that we need to get us back up to that baseline, because that baseline is always high as fuck. Like, even if one of the areas of our life, let's say that we're going really, really hard in our career, like Ty is right now, he's going super hard in his career. Here, talk about your workouts recently and what's been kind of going on there.
So I've struggled to I don't struggle to get in the gym. I have the discipline to do that every day, and I'm an early riser. I've created a really good habit out of that, and but I started to have a little bit of downfall in my workouts, and my workouts are one of the most important things to me. I get them done first thing in the morning. It kind of sets my day. I feel good. The endorphins get moving through my body. And as it started to fall off, I felt myself lacking in the way I was studying. I was a little more frustrated at home. I just could feel all around like I was melting. And in my head, I was telling myself, like, your workouts are suffering because you're putting in all this extra effort. And I started to give myself an excuse. And I'm okay with having a moment for myself to say, hey, man, we're just a man, just a woman. We all are in this place. But I had to really sit back and say, hey, if you really get back into your workouts, you dominate them when you don't want to do them, if you double down on the things you hate doing, it's going to make studying easier. It's going to make your workouts feel better. And I've gotten into that flow over this last week and a half, and I kind of feel it. I just feel like I'm on top of the world again. And I know it's just me. It's for just my head. I'm not competing in anything. I'm not. Maybe nobody else might not even realize I'm in the gym, but in my head, I feel like I'm like my own champion, and it's helping me out a lot in what I'm doing outside of my workouts.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I wanted to actually touch on that you just spoke about was accountability. And
Yeah.
I think something that's super important is that we hold ourselves accountable, but we build a base foundation of the people around us that we hold accountable as well, and that hold us accountable. And this isn't the whole like put your arm around each other when you're sad and tell them everything's going to be all right. And I mean, I got appreciation for that too, but this is the get your head out of your ass accountability. I'm going to tell you what you probably don't want to hear, but you need to hear. And I think we're good at that, even though it doesn't always sit well with
It's
each
harder
other.
for me. It's harder for me, but I'm learning that that's the most effective way to do things. No matter how uncomfortable it is. Like for me, it's really hard to have those moments of contention or to be super honest because I don't want that person to feel a certain way or whatever. But, you know, you've really shown me that when you decide to hold people up to that high standard, they rise to it. And if they don't, that is, you know, that's not our problem. That's kind of theirs, and it kind of shows true colors.
And then kind of the way, something that maybe when we met, you brought a much more emotional side to my life, and I brought a much more logical side to yours in the way that we view things. And I've learned that massively, I would say. I'm not a very emotional person. I'm finding myself more emotional as I get older, and I got a baby now, which you want to get emotional about something, go have a child.
Yeah.
But it has taught me that now I can recognize when emotion is driving decisions and driving what I'm doing, and when logic is driving it. And when I want to get something done, I need to listen to my logic. And I need to recognize the emotion that's behind it, you know, and whether it's me being sad or feeling guilty about something, whatever the case is, and I can recognize it's there. I can put a label on it if I want, but the logic is what's going to feed what my decision is. That's going to get me my objective. And when you become better at that, my career has made me really good at the logic side and making decisions in really emotional, high intensity situations where you got to maintain your composure and the world's kind of legitimately on fire.
Right.
And, but it's taught me how valuable that thought process clarity is, because your objective is this and that's what you want, and you get that. You got to do that. And you can't be driven by this, oh man, poor me right now, or oh, I just don't feel like it. It's, that shit goes to the wayside.
It's so true. And I'm so happy that you went here because, you know, I tend to say you have to kind of fuck your feelings. Like you have to push past that, because those feelings, they're not facts. They're not real. Like they're just fleeting in the moment. And if you push past that one thought that's like basically anchoring you down, then you get the results that you want, because you're pushing past it. You're fucking executing. And this is what I feel like so many of us struggle with, because we stay in the emotions of what we're feeling, you know, whether we're going through a breakup or we're going through a friendship, like hardship or whatever the fuck. You still have to be willing to execute and allow yourself to be above what's going on internally and push fucking forward, because the world's not going to stop based on how you're feeling. It's not. And sometimes that's really the mindset that's necessary. Yes, there's a time and a place to feel your feelings, and, you know, don't ignore what you're going through, journal, process it, do whatever that you need to do to clear that shit out. But at the end of the day, like, you still have to have that base level of discipline to get up and do the work, because that's the only way you're going to get to the places that you want to go. And you and I are like that. You know, we'll come home from traveling and we're like, going straight to the gym because we know that we've taken a day or two off. And that's the last thing that we want to go do. We want to go sit on the couch and do nothing. Sometimes you do.
That's honestly the first thing I kind of want to do. But no, I 100% agree with you. But I think emotions too they're perspective based.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all have heard the glass half full, half empty thing, and that shit sounds really good until you're in your feels and you're like, I can't look at this any other way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like it's, you know, we've all seen our friends in relationships they shouldn't be in and down in, you know, the dumps when they shouldn't be, and you're sitting there thinking like, man, you should be grateful for all these fucking things you have, and you're the friend there that's there telling them that, and they're like, I can't see it. But if we get good at doing that for ourselves, recognizing those early on, making those adjustments and saying, hey, I feel like shit right now because of A, B, and C, or I got this family thing going on. It's like, and then you really look at all the things you're grateful for, like, and you really sit down and feel those things. You don't just tell yourself like, I should be grateful I have a house. I should be grateful I got a job. Like, you really think about it and think about how the world actually is, and majority of the people in the world are set up. You start to realize that you might not be able to completely turn those feelings over, but you can control them, isolate them a little bit, handle them the way you should be able to handle them, and redirect them.
Yeah.
And again, for me, the big part, the gym, you know, for me, it's a redirection of feelings. A lot of times I'm good at using what I consider my negative emotions, throwing them in my backpack, taking them to the gym with me, and coming home empty handed.
Yeah.
And I have great workouts.
I love that. I love that. That's a really good analogy. Throw it in my backpack with me. Yeah, I think that's really, really important. And I really, truly think that the more that you continue to adopt these small, they really are in the smallest moments of life, you know, where your head is telling you one thing and you decide, I'm going to go forward. Yep. Those micro changes make all the difference. And yeah, I think that's all we want to give you guys a taste of today. So if you want Tyler to come back, please leave lots of comments, lots of reviews, because we need this man back on here many times. Everybody needs a little taste of his wisdom. He's got so much in there.
I don't know about that.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Tyler, for coming on. We appreciate your time and energy.
Thanks for forcing me to do this.
You're so welcome. Love you. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.